architect of Sardar Patel statue in Gujarat.
We all are wishing for your best future. Hello Shruti, how are you?
I'm good, sir.
Are you comfortable?
Yes, sir.
So can we start interview?
Yes.
We are audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please introduce yourself as independent empowered woman.
So, my name is SHRUTI Sharma. I was born in Bijnor, educated in New Delhi. I have been a student of history, sir. I like to learn new things, explore new cultures through food, cinema, languages, and books. And I would like to label myself as an optimist, sir.
Anything else?
So, I have been a student of history, so history is something which deeply motivates me. At the same time, sir, I do wish to enter the civil services and make some change in the world and in the society around me. And issues of women, issues of governance, issues of education deeply interest me, sir.
So your optional is history.
Yes.
What is history?
So history in simple terms can be seen as a study of the past, but it is not merely a study of facts, but how, why they happened, and attempts to learn from them can be seen as the study of history, sir.
These days there are a lot of debate about rewriting of the history.
Yes.
What is your opinion about this rewriting of history?
Yes, sir. So I believe history has always been written and rewritten over time, sir. Because history is not just a mere set of facts, but how we look at them, sir. And those who write them look at them differently. At the same time, sir, I believe that there should be a respect to the sources that the discipline of history values, and any such rewriting should be based on certain sources such as numismatics or archival sources or archaeological sources, sir.
Can history will create a war for future? If you have a lot of conflicts about the evidences, there are two types of ways, such as a Macaulay way of history and rewriting history in the Indian context. Will it create a lot of chaos in the Indian society?
Sir, I believe debate and discussion is essential in any democracy, sir. And as long as those discussions and debates are not based in hatred, are not based in conflict, are not based in violence, sir, I think any sort of debate and discussion can lead to a more fruitful result rather than conflicts.
Myself.
Yeah.
Okay, Shruti, in your choice of services, you have offered service, police service also. It's not a very sort of highly liked. A policeman carries some sort of a different image. What is the liability, image he carries? He or she. And still you want to join the police service?
Yes, sir. So, the police services are a highly valued services in the entire administrative spectrum, sir. And I do believe that the power and the change that a police servant can bring to the lives of the people, and the immediate recourse to any individual who has been struck by a personal issue, the immediacy with which a police officer can solve those issues is of utmost importance, sir, in the welfare of the people, sir. So,
do you think common man feels sort of confident in approaching a policeman? If not, why?
yes, sir. So, I do believe in certain cases, there are certain problems with the institution, as there are with all institutions, sir, that in terms of implementation, sometimes in certain areas the policeman is seen as aloof or not completely understanding or being sensitive to the concerns of the people, sir. But I think police reforms are ongoing, and the administration itself is working to bring about reforms, which is reducing.
You said
barriers.
about reforms. I think there has been a sort of Supreme Court judgment also.
Yes,
Reforms in the police. Can you throw some light on that judgment? Famous judgment. And
sir?
what changes have been suggested by the Supreme Court? Honorable Supreme Court.
Sir, I think it is the Prakash Singh judgment which talked about reform in the criminal justice system, sir. So, increasing greater accountability was an aspect of those reforms, sir. At the same time, not all of the reforms of the Prakash Singh judgment have been implemented in terms of independent appointment of police officers.
Can you name one, point which is quite important in that judgment? The directions which have been given.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm sorry, I can't recollect fully, but I think there was a police establishment board and the state, which was an independent body to appoint the police officers.
Okay, my last question to you. What 2 steps, suppose you are selected and posted in the district,
Yes.
what 2-3 steps you would like to initiate to improve the security of women in your area?
Yes, sir. So I've been educated in Delhi, and the issue of women's safety is an important concern in Delhi specifically, sir. So, sir, I think women's safety is not about a single step or a few steps. It needs to be an overall environment that we need to provide to women where they can safely travel. So transit-oriented development where there are less...
As a police officer, what 2-3 steps you would like to take?
Sir, firstly, reducing dark spaces. So, use of technology such as CCTV cameras to ensure that any dark spaces where criminals
Okay,
can
dark
happen.
spots. Okay.
Yes, sir. So, secondly, ensuring that immediate services are provided. So, a helpline number and women constables and community policing of sorts, so that the gap between the people and the police is reduced in the long run, and they can feel comfortable talking to the police can be another steps.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Shruti, how are you?
Good, sir.
You are from Bijnor.
Yes, sir.
Describe Bijnor.
Sir, Bijnor is a district located in western UP, sir, and the river Ganga flows through it. So it is a very fertile district, and therefore sugarcane is one of the major crops of Bijnor, and correspondingly the sugar industry is very well developed with more than 5 biggest sugar mills located in the district, sir. In terms of historical importance, the place Vidurkati is associated with it, and the birthplace of King Bharat. In terms of personalities, sir, important poets like Dushyant Kumar, film personalities like Vishal Bharadwaj, and even historical figures like Abul Fazl and Faizi associated with Akbar's court are linked with Bijnor, sir.
Good. Why do you consider yourself as an ideal candidate for civil services?
Sir, I think I have certain qualities which may make me an appropriate candidate for the job, sir. Firstly, I think, sir, my personalized ethic of dedication and ability to work well with deadlines in an organized manner, sir, is something that makes me appropriate for the job. Secondly, sir, my ability to work well in teams, as I have been told by some of my friends as well. I do have good interpersonal skills, and in the past also I have been able to work well in groups, so that is an advantage, sir. So thirdly, I think my interest in the field, my interest in serving people around me, and my dedication towards that goal, sir, is something that makes me a fit for the jobs.
Fantastic. You have been a cultural secretary in St. Stephen's College.
Sir, I was a cultural secretary in my school, sir, Sardar Patel
School.
Vidyalaya.
Okay, fine. So you must have some leadership experience when you were imparting that particular role. So what were the leadership learning for you?
Sir, I think it was a great experience for me as the cultural secretary in my school, and we organized all the major cultural events in the school, sir. So some things that I learned, which I hadn't learned before I performed that role, sir, was the importance given to each team member in a leadership role. We can't assume all responsibility ourselves. The amount of trust that we need to put in other members' abilities and our group members' abilities is very important, sir. Secondly, sir, I think along with the giving of responsibilities, we also need to make sure of the micro aspects of it as well as the macro aspects. So just focusing on a goal and not looking at the micro details is something that a leader cannot not afford to do, sir. And thirdly, sir, constantly motivating people around us and not being a negative presence and being only overtly critical is something that a good leader also must not do, sir.
Okay. Do you find any difference between a manager and a leader?
According to me, a manager works with a certain goal and in terms of what to do and working for a already pre-given goal. A leader, on the other hand, I think inspires people to do more and work better to the best of their abilities.
Okay, so my last question is, when you were introducing yourself, you said you want to be a change agent. Suppose you are a district magistrate of a district which has a tradition of traditional scent industry, but it has died down over a period of time. So you being the leader in that administration, and you are asked to revive that industry. So what are the steps you are going to take?
So India specifically has been very famous for its atars and itr. So I think putting that on a certain pedestal and taking from our government schemes such as Brand India, which not only focus on the local market, but also using technology such as portals to put forward this idea of Brand India in the context of scents or atars can be one step that should be taken. Secondly, sir, using and employing the abilities of the local people. And there are certain knowledge bases which only the local people have and certain ways of making scents, say in the Kannauj area, which have unique ways of making scents. So those can be employed and tackled, hopefully. So thirdly, introducing certain supervisors who have a knowledge of this industry and working on the micro level is also certain things that I think I will do, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So Shruti, I will continue with history only. You are a student of history. So can you tell me how historically Ashoka and Buddhism are related to each other?
King Ashoka is known as one of the first upasaks of Buddhism, where not only was he a personal believer in the ideas of Buddhism, but also used it in his administration. So his idea of Dhamma was propagated through the whole of India through his pillar edicts and rock edicts. So in that way they are connected.
Okay. So it is known after Kalinga War, Ashoka adopted Buddhism, denounced all power, he doesn't focus on defense services. So can you relate that Ashoka policy to current Ukrainian policy? The king having no defense power, not focusing on defense, no budget on defense. So can you relate both Ashoka as a king and Ukrainian president now?
So some historians do say that the reason that the fall of the modern empire happened was due to the lack of emphasis on the defense policy after the Kalinga War. So, sir, if I try to apply that to the recent Russian-Ukrainian crisis, it is being said that due to the 1994 memorandum, Budapest memorandum, Ukraine did give up its nuclear weapons and did not think about its security interests and did not become a part of NATO. And so for that reason, Russia found it easier to start a war in Ukraine, sir.
Good. So you studied in Sardar Patel Vidyalaya,
Yes, sir.
and your father profession is architect. So can you name the architect of the Sardar Patel statue in Gujarat? You have idea?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I don't know.
Okay, no problem. So, I will continue. You are doing masters in sociology.
Yes, sir. I've just started my master's
Just,
in sociology.
you are aware about the concept of Sanskritization?
I've just started my graduation, my post-graduation. But in my limited understanding, sir, it is the process of the castes lower in the caste hierarchy of emulating the castes in the upper hierarchy to become closer to their status through the change in their practices.
Right. So, you are from UP also. So, can you relate how Yadav in UP have done it, Sanskrit, how they used Sanskritization process as an upliftment?
Sir, I don't think I would be able. I'm not aware.
Fine, no problem.
Thank you.
So, you studied in Delhi also. So, you are aware about the Delhi model of education.
Yes, sir.
Can you brief me a few points?
So the Delhi model of education has been considered a relatively successful model of education, where recently the pass percentage and the result of the government schools has been even better than the private schools, and a number of steps have been taken in that direction. Firstly, sir, is the emphasis on infrastructure and improving the infrastructure of the schools. Secondly, sir, is the involvement of parents in the school management committees, which has increased the accountability of the schools as well as the teachers. Thirdly, sir, is the emphasis on teacher training, and even links have been made with foreign universities and foreign colleges to increase teacher training, and the reward mechanism has also increased through yearly teacher awards, which increases their status. Fourthly, sir, is the change in the curriculum. So certain unique aspects have been brought in, such as the happiness curriculum, which not only focuses on the rote learning and the academic curriculum, but also emotional education and social emotional education. So these are the steps, sir, which have made it a success.
So, suppose you are a DM of any district in UP.
Yes.
So, which major steps you will take to improve the education system in your district?
Personally, in my district of Bijnor, sir, while education has rapidly increased and improved over the years, two major problems emerge. Firstly is that of infrastructure, and secondly that of teachers, sir. So while the headquarters and district does have good schools, but it does not percolate down to the village and the tehsil level. So, sir, even in my village, till today, there is no science stream school in 11th and 12th, sir. So infrastructurally, there is a need to construct more schools, sir. And secondly, more importantly, is the idea of good teachers. So learning also from the Delhi education model, teacher training, I think, should be given greater emphasis. Even after the appointment of teachers, regular teacher training and stock taking should be taken, sir.
Okay. So, you are talking about the infrastructure of schools, right?
Yes.
So, as a DM, you know about how much fund you are having to improve that kind of infrastructure.
Yes.
As a DM, which powers you have to use funds for the infrastructure improvement?
Sir, I would not know about the intricacies of the powers, but I think, sir, a prioritization should be done while utilizing the funds. So with respect to schools, sir, sanitation is a very important aspect. So ensuring that schools have washrooms for women is a very important step in ensuring a good enrollment ratio in the schools, sir. Secondly, sir, I think chairs and tables, sir, are important, because sometimes there is only one classroom. So a certain division of space in chairs and tables increases that. With respect to the science stream, even if a lab can't be constructed, basic equipment like beakers and all. So, sir, I think a prioritization should be done step by step.
Okay. So, my last question to you. There is so much hype recently about Korean cinema, So, what do you think our Bollywood is missing if you compare it with the Korean cinema or the world cinema?
Bollywood is one of the largest making industries in the world. Yet it has not received the sort of accolades that we have won. Although recently one of our documentaries, Writing with Fire, was awarded an Oscar in the recent awards. At the same time, sir, I think an emphasis on our regional audiences is something that Bollywood focuses on. So a greater diversity of topics moving beyond romance is something that can be done and is being done constantly. So, sir, I think it is an ongoing process which is happening. Sir.
One of the question for you. Explain freedom of expression in the terms of the Western cinema and Indian cinema, especially in the terms of the Schindler List and the Kashmir Files. Are we ready to take such serious matter, as you mentioned that a lot of dancing and music happening in the Indian cinema? Can you please define the difference between the Schindler List and the Kashmir Files, the recent controversies?
So Article 19 of the Constitution does provide us with the freedom of speech and expression, sir. Sir, Schindler's List is a movie related to Nazi Germany and highlighting the entire Holocaust and the atrocities that happened during the Holocaust. The Kashmir Files is a movie about the Kashmiri Pandits and the atrocities that happened in Kashmir against them. Both are very good representations of how cinema can be an avenue for talking about historical injustices and the idea of freedom of expression, sir. Sir, I do think that we as a society are ready for such discussions to take place, and the popularity of the movie is an indicator that such discussions are happening and should be allowed in a healthy democracy, sir.
But there is a lot of controversy in comparison to the Schindler's List.
Yes, sir.
So, are we ready to take these kind of controversial subjects right now?
I think any sort of debate and discussion is healthy as long as it does not lead to violence or hurting any other person, sir. So I think we are ready, sir, for such expansion of freedom of expression.
But there are a lot of intellectuals who said that this create a greater divide in our society, this movie. Are you agree with that in terms of the freedom of expression? As you mentioned that movies or cinema must follow the freedom of expression.
Yes, sir. So, Article 19 of the Constitution is also accompanied with a set of reasonable restrictions where as long as the sovereignty and integrity of India or certain violence does not come into place, the freedom of expression should be upheld, sir. So I believe that as long as that stage is not reached, any sort of debate and discussion is healthy, sir.
Right. Thank you so much. And we all are wishing for your best future and bright future.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
To take time. If you need more time, you can say, okay, can I take second?
Yes, sir.
No problem with that. But that can be only once or twice. ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकता. एक ही maximum.
ठीक है, sir.
लेकिन थोड़ा सोच के दो. जैसे पुलिस रिफॉर्म का हम बात कर रहे थे, probably नहीं होता. एकदम थोड़ा सा मतलब उसको हर everybody will have to think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना? ये थोड़ा रखो. और एक कोई आंसर जिसमें आप कंफर्टेबल है ना, बहुत लंबा आंसर मत दो, जैसे सिनेमा का दिया. ज्यादा लंबा आंसर दोगे तो वो इंटरेस्ट भी खत्म हो जाता है और आपका टाइम वेस्ट होगा.
ठीक है, सर.
कीप इट ब्रीफ एंड टू द पॉइंट.
Okay, sir.
Don't be nervous, be confident.
And the last suggestion that you have to work on your DAF
Okay, sir.
little bit more,
Okay.
right? And there are 4 step formula that is PAWN method. Work on your personality and what you discuss in your DAF, your academics little bit. इसको थोड़ा सा ब्रश अप करने की जरूरत है. ये वर्किंग जैसे कि आपने अपना इंटरेस्ट शो किया कि आपका क्या इंटरेस्ट है और आपका बेसिकली हॉबीज या आपकी पर्सनालिटी के साथ वो कैसे अटैच हो सकता है. थोड़ा सा इनके अगर आप 10% 15% इंप्रूव और करते हैं तो आपके लिए बहुत बेनिफिशियल रहेगा. जो आपको लैक मिला वो है आपका सिचुएशन बेस्ड क्वेश्चन पे. आप उसको सडनली टैकल कम कर पा रहे थे. बट डेफिनेटली अगर आप इसको बहुत अच्छे से करते हैं तो डेफिनेटली यू विल come out with flying colors.
On this situation-based questions. You know, Shruti, what is happening is your prioritization is not proper.
Okay, sir.
You are getting into the micro stuff, but as a district leader, district administrator, you have work from the macro level to the micro. So you please work on your strategic acumen.
Okay, sir.
So what is the strategic acumen? Strategic acumen is about scanning the internal, external environment and talking to every stakeholder and then come up with a vision, some strategy. So that strategic, if you develop this, you'll be able to tackle all these situation-based questions.
Okay, sir.
Sometimes we found that your shoulder was dropping.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, you were confident. So उस समय का जो है आप जब क्वेश्चंस नहीं आ रहे हैं तो थोड़ा हो रहा है और ना करना सीखिए क्या प्रॉब्लम है शिंडलर्स लिस्ट के बारे में आपको पता नहीं है तो आप मना करिए उसको एंड योर स्माइल इज वंडरफुल यूज इट मोर ऑफन
Sir, for that question specifically on a sense, what could have been a wholesome answer?
I told you that आप कोई जादू नहीं है आपके पास कि आप जाते ही जो है आप करने लग जाएंगे पहले आपको सेंस करना पड़ेगा यू हैव टू स्कैन द एनवायरनमेंट व्हाट वर द ट्रेडिशनल दिस थिंग स्टेक होल्डर से आप बातचीत करेंगे और हम क्या कर सकते हैं कैसे रिवाइव कर सकते हैं कोई फॉरेन कोलैबोरेशन हो सकता है उसके अंदर एंड देन यू हैव टू अलाइन दिस थिंग्स विद द गवर्नमेंट्स इनिशिएटिव्स एंड गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज आल्सो और हो सकता है कि आप किसी फॉरेन उसके साथ कोलैबोरेट करके और आगे बढ़ करके उसके लिए आपका क्या प्रोडक्शन होगा उसके लिए क्या ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज का डेवलपमेंट होगा ट्रेनिंग एंड डेवलपमेंट होगा सो यू आर अ पर्सन हु इज लुकिंग आफ्टर एवरीथिंग
Yes, sir.
जस्ट डोंट पास ऑर्डर्स ये करेंगे आपको भी सीखना है ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में ना आपकी लर्निंग और आपका कंट्रीब्यूशन कोलैबोरेटिव अप्रोच ये सारा मतलब इट्स एन अपॉर्चुनिटी
Yes, sir.
you can work on a template and just do it
Okay, sir.
and work on the managerial questions also leadership
Yes,
this
sir.
thing
ठीक है, sir. Thank you, sir.